Good evening, everybody, and welcome here to race number 13 of the PCSRA Foster Series. This is attempt number 2. First attempt, I recorded the race, and then, oh no, my recording system didn't even save the race. Bleep me. So it's fine. We're going to get this race re recorded so that way you guys have a race to watch and all that. So, yeah. Anyway, this is the last chance for a driver that has not made it into this season's All Star race by taking the checker flag here tonight at Port Huron Speedway in Port Huron, Michigan, even though it says I in that number. So, yeah. Adina Almaz starts on the pole position. This is her first pole on the season. She comes into this race tied for 31st in the point standing. She dropped 2 spots to 31st in the points. She is outside the top 30 in points, meaning her win from Dover would not count for a spot into the playoffs. So she will need a good run alongside of Priya McShane. Eric Sadler, who's making his third start because I forgot Jamie Pintor passed away last year. So he will get the points Jamie Pintor had. This will be his, even though it says his first start, it will be his third on the season. Haley Andersen Jr. making his debut, and Alina Ricci, who comes in this race third in the championship, as you look at the rest of the starting lineup as far as that is concerned. Let's get these drivers rolling. As Cody go for Jacob Foster rounding out the rear of the field. Paul Minnick is the points leader by 28 points over Lucy Grainger, 35 over Alina Ricci, 54 over Mohammed Zain. Emily Anderson is 5th. Alex Hawkins, Troy King, Zachary Fitzwater, Eric Stanbury, and S Ozkan dropped 4 spots down to 10th in the points. Going to be 50 laps of racing. Hopefully, we will not have any more issues with my recording software. After this race, we'll be halfway through the regular season as far as that is concerned. Here we come to take the green flag. We are racing here tonight at Port Huron. Almost will lead the first lap. Haley Andersen looking underneath the 72 machine. This track is almost like a Auto Club, except it's a lot smaller than Auto Club. I'm watching the next Iron Chef on my PlayStation as I'm recording this race. So if you're hearing the knives clinging, I do apologize. Cody Major, at the rear of the field. There's Eric Sadler, Alina Ricci, Kyle Langeland, one of the drivers currently inside the top 30 in the points to have his win count for a playoff berth. Comes in this race 22nd in the points. He has a total of 21 points ahead of the 30th in the standings. If anyone's asking why my voice sounds like this, it's because I got into an argument with my house manager over where we have to be in our rooms at 10 p.m., which he didn't follow instructions, then decided to attack me. So I'm a little sore as far as my neck is concerned. So I really do apologize about that. Haley Andersen is leading the race. Also, I'm recording this at almost 1 a.m., so please forgive me on that. Even if Haley Andersen were to go to victory lane, it would lock him a spot into this season's All-Star race, which is next week. However, it will not be enough for him to get in the top 30 in the points to have a win count for a playoff berth because of the fact that 95 has missed too many races and came in late. There's Langeland Bria McShane, another driver I mentioned about the 10 of Almas. Bria McShane is also tied with Almas for 31st in the points. Both of those gals come into this race 11 points back of the 30th in the standings cut line, which the playoff grid looks like this if this was the regular season finale. Paul Minnick with his win last week, as he, by the way, took over the points lead, as we have a new leader in Haley Andersen Jr. So it'd be Paul Minnick, Alina Ricky, Mohammed Zain, Quentin Moore, Jacob Foster, Jessica Parker, Kyle Langeland. Those 7 drivers are locked in the top 30 in points. Barring the 10 and 21 getting back in the top 30 in points, the rest of the playoff grid in no particular order are Lucy Grainger, 57 points above the cut line. 23 above is Emily Anderson, Alex Hawkins. 19 above is Troy Kang, Zachary Fitzwater, Eric Stanbury, 15 points above the cut line. 13 above is Samad Ozkan, Grace Takayama. 6 points above the cut line. William Davis is 2 points above the cut line. 2 below are Sean and Carolina Bradley. Riley Anderson, 11 points below the cut line, and 15 below is Daniel Getaroff. There's Alina Ricky, who, by the way, lost the points lead last week. Right now, running in 4th. The guy that she's trying to run down for the points lead, that would be Paul Minnick, is running in 9th. Given this race as the points leader after his win last week at Pocono. The gal that Elena is trying to run down for the rookie points lead, Lucy Grainger, running in 17th. And she's also 2nd in points. She's also trying to run down Paul Minnick for the points lead. Check the back of the field here. Quentin Moore, Grace Takayama. There's Katsura Mirmoz, made the start this week. Getaroff back here at the rear of the field. This track is really a lot of fun. A lot of passes on the outside, which is kind of what you expected out of a track like this. This track is almost identical to the Autodromo Daniel Estevit that the Master Cup Series ran in Brazil. William Davis. Jesse's back here at the rear of the field, 26, and that's not where she needs to be. Emily Anderson, 25th. Chase Brooks in 24th. Chase is, by the way, facing a must-win situation. He is 36th in the points. He is dead last of the drivers that have a charter this season. Eric Stanbury, Riley Anderson. There's Carolina Bradley, CJ Bracken, Lucy Grainger. Right now, a lot of drivers who needing a good run that are really struggling in the points. Right now, Haley Anderson pulling away, but with where the 10 is running and also where the 21's running, 21's dropped back down to 9th. Maddie Crenshaw, there's Kyle Langeland, Troy Kang, Priya right now with where she's running could possibly be back in the top 30 in the points. It's all going to depend on who that cut line driver is, and that's Arena McShane, who, by the way, comes in this race that critical 30th in the standings. Needs a good run to get away from 30th in the standings. And Priya is running back here in the almost contact with her and Scarlett Wallace. She's running last time by, scored in 32nd. I think that's going to more than likely be enough for those two ladies I mentioned, the 21 and the 10, to get themselves back in the top 30 in the points. But after tonight, we only have 13 more regular season races left to go until we determine the 16 drivers that will battle for that said championship. Nearing the midway point of tonight's race. As I'm recording this, I already pre-ordered the new WWE 2K26, so I am all set to go as far as that's concerned. So we're past the halfway point of tonight's race. Funny thing about this track was the first ever time the what is now the Monster Energy Series raced here at this track, which ran 500 laps, which that was a fun race. Racing in Brazil. As Haley Andersen making his debut. Really doing a very good job. I bet you Almas and Eric Sadler. Good run for Eric Sadler, go or go home driver. Almas, if she can get a second win, it could possibly lock her in the playoffs. But remember, you got to also think into consideration that she needs to stay in the top 30 in points, because it doesn't matter how many wins you have. If you're not in the top 30 in points when we get to after the regular season checker flag in April, you're not battling for the championship. Pretty much plain and simple. And we also might have a new points leader, possibly. There's Emmanuel Hartnett. As we're checking through the rest of the field. If you have not heard, if you didn't tune into last night's pole day qualifying, as you're looking at Reggie Fogelman, from all of us in the World Racing Association, we want to send, first of all, our condolences to Sarah Fogelman, whose mom passed away last week as I'm recording this race here tonight. Number one. Number two, Sarah Fogelman will be out of the car for the remainder of the season because of the fact she's about to give birth to welcome another child into the world, which we're very happy for her. So Philip Torres will be in the 14 or in the 25 ride which will start at the All-Star break. As Haley Andersen leading this race. Back here at the rear of the field, Cody Majoric, Daniel Gitteroth. Good, bad run for Senor Sean. A couple of drivers running well in points. Quentin Moore came in this race 11th in points, not where he needs to be. Ian Griffith back here at the rear of the field. Alex Hawkins. Arena McShane's probably going to be dropping through the points. As we're down to nearing 15 laps of racing to go here at Port Huron. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the World Racing Association, the Blue Hedgehog TV, for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast or retransmitted or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the World Racing Association is prohibited. Blue Hedgehog TV and the World Racing Association want to thank you fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Kyle Langeland, good run for him, a driver that's near the 30th in the standings cut line. We're going to take on board with Haley Andersen, see what it's like racing at this 1 mile track, which is, like I said, similar to Mini Michigan and a Mini Auto Club, but it's like a mile shorter in the length. There's our booth right up there where I'm currently at. I did a test race with 200 laps, and drivers really, we only had 6 cautions in that race, which was really incredible. Oh, we got a wreck. Daniel Witter and Arena McShane. That was not what the leaders wanted to see. We have our first yellow of the night inside of 10 to go. A lot of damage to Daniel Witter. That pretty much just sums up her season in a nutshell. Arena McShane just missed pit road. A lot of damage to the Monster Energy. She came in this race at that critical 30th in the standings. Really could not ill afford a poor finish tonight. So we're definitely going to have ourselves an interesting race as the caution's out for the first and possibly the only time of the race. Let's jump back and look at the replay to see what happened to the 20 and the 45. Daniel Witter was running in the 18th position at the time, and it looks like a mechanical problem let go on the DeWalt Tools Chevrolet. And as she was slowing down, trying to get out of the way of the field, unfortunately, the black smoke. Let's see when the 45. Here comes the 45, and whammo! Lot of damage to the 45. She goes up and nails the inside or the outside safer barrier. And that's what brought out the caution for the first time here tonight at Port Huron. So Two drivers that have been struggling in the points. Arena McShane, 30th in the standings, will drop out of the top 30. And almost nearly hit the 20. But Danielle Witter, who's had a really rough couple of weeks, was outside the top 30. She's going to still be outside the top 30 as we're going to head to the restart here at Port Huron. Green flag going to go back out on lap 47, so the caution comes out. This will end the race under the yellows. My phone, by the way, is getting the reboot. Haley Andersen, Kyle Langeland, Alina Ricci, Troy Kang, Priya McShane, the top 5. Then it's Eric Sadler, Adina Almas, Mohammed Zain, Samad Ozkan, and Zachary Fitzwater completing the top 10. Two drivers out of the race, which are both from that incident, the 20 and the 45, Daniel Witter and Marina McShane, excuse me. Not really sure what let go on the 20 car. That is a tough break for her. And like I said, really having a dismal season, nevertheless. Daniel Witter is more than likely must win going forward in the second half of the regular season. Back to green here at Port Huron. There's Haley Andersen, Kyle Langeland. If he wins, would be good momentum for him. As remember, he's a former winner this season, right near the 30th in the standings cut line. We're down to 2 laps of racing to go here in Port Huron. Excuse me. Next week, we'll be at Coca-Cola for the All-Star Race. White flag is in the air one more time around Port Huron, sponsored by Credit One Bank. And it's looking more than likely Haley Andersen is going to lock himself a spot in the All-Star Race unless Kyle Langeland has something to say about that. And coming off of turn number 4, Haley Andersen will win his first career Foster race in his debut as he'll take the checker flag here tonight at Port Huron. I know it's not going to count for a playoff berth, but a win is a win for that 95 bunch. Kyle Langeland will get second. This will definitely get him away from 30th in the standings. Alina Ricci finished third. I think that would give her the points lead back heading into our next points event in 2 weeks. Priya McShane, I think fourth, has done enough to get her back in the top 30 in the points. We'll double check that to be sure, because last week I thought Adina Almas got back in the top 30 in points, missed it by a wide margin. I think, or no, it was a couple of weeks ago. I missed it by a wide margin. Troy Kang will get 5th. Eric Sadler, Mohammed Zain, Samad Ozkan, Almas will get 9th. That will definitely get her back in the top 30 in the standings. And Zachary Fitzwater will complete the top 10. Paul Minnick finished 14, so we'll have to see what the gap is. Only 11 spots different. Same with Lucy Grainger, who came as second in points, and also the rookie points leader. That will go back to Elena Ricci. Look on down through the remainder of the finishing results. A lot of drivers that came in running well in points are going to really take some hits, if you ask me. We had 40 of the 42 starters all finished on the lead lap. Nobody finished a lap down or more. And only 2 ladies, that would be Arena McShane, Daniel Witter, did not reach the conclusion of the race after they triggered the only yellow of tonight's race. So Daniel Witter going to be going into the Foster's Open at Coca-Cola next week. Same for Arena McShane. So it's a break for a number of drivers who really did not need these finishes, but that's the way the nature of this system is. You got to make sure that consistent runs. And I think the 20 is no doubt must win going forward as far as that's concerned. So, hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race from here at Port Huron. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We've shown your full finisher results. Your points are down in the description as a result of tonight's results here at Port Huron. We'll be seeing you all next week as we will head to Coca-Cola Super Speedway for no points racing as we have the Foster's Open. That will be on Tuesday, the All-Star race on Wednesday. Now for our studio engineer, that is the YouTuber. I'm D DeVoles. Thank you for joining me and saying good night from Port Huron in Michigan, where we congratulate Haley Andersen Jr. on his first win of his career. Coming up next, we'll rejoin your local news already in progress. We'll talk to you next week from Coca-Cola. You've been watching the PCSRA Foster Series on the World Racing Association's Multimedia Network.